We have an update on an AEW star after a scary infection this week. Also, we have the backstage reaction to the NXT injury angle on Tuesday, and a controversial ex-WWE superstar is making his in-ring return. More on that in the wrestling news. Hello everybody, Jack and Fraser back again with our second news video of the day. We're going to start by talking about AEW's CJ Perry, who has now undergone surgery following that infection that everybody was talking about and that she was sharing details about on social media. She gave an update on her Instagram.
She did indeed. She said, "I've been in hospital since Saturday fighting a severe and possibly fatal infection that came from getting a small splinter backstage at work this past Wednesday. Please keep me in your prayers, and everyone really takes care of any cuts you get. As small as a splinter can turn into a deadly infection. Love all you guys, and thank you to everyone who has reached out," and then 3 love heart emojis. It was a very nasty looking injury.
Don't put the
we
picture
can't
up
put
on
the
there.
photo up there because it is quite graphic, but it is very worrying that something as small as a splinter can cause something like that. The photo is out there. It's horrible. Do not look it up. But hopefully she is on the mend. It does look like she's, undergone that surgery and things are getting better. But it is just a bit of a worrying sort of instant sort of switch that.
It's a crazy one, especially, I guess, you're working somewhere with a lot of people, a lot of things being built, a lot of set design around and everything. But it's a reminder that, just be careful with yourselves, everyone. Yeah.
It's also the Christmas period. Can't imagine this is very fun.
Oh, no,
It's
at
Miro's
all.
birthday soon.
Yeah, on Christmas
Day.
Bloody hell.
She's in hospital.
Well,
hopefully she gets better.
Hopefully CJ Perry has a full and speedy recovery there. We also have a reaction to not a real injury, but a fake one on this week's NXT. What happened if you missed the updates was that Ridge Holland made a surprise appearance in NXT back from SmackDown and basically challenged Ilja Dragunov to a match, for a non-title match in that night's main event. And they did a worked injury angle, which cut the match short, and Dragunov was stretchered out. And it was all played very seriously. Ridge Holland he looked devastated in the ring, but it was confirmed pretty quickly that this was a work. So it's not a real injury, but we have an update on that.
We do, from Fightful Select, saying everyone seemed happy with the performance and the camera work, and the producers seemed pleased with the reaction the angle got from the crowd. WWE producers were aware that most in attendance understood it was an angle because they quickly announced the next show was starting. Cameras followed Dragunov all the way to the ambulance and it driving off, which I guess when we watched NXT, it is a bit more clear than the reports when it was taped going, there's been an injury and Dragunov's been stretchered off. When we saw it in NXT, it does make it very obvious that, okay, they're leaning into this. The camera was on him.
Yes, but even though they seem pretty pleased in WWE with the angle, Fightful Select are noting that it did have its detractors as well, because they say the plan was a bit controversial among some in WWE, but NXT decided to go through with it anyway. That's because of Ridge Holland's history. He was the person who unfortunately injured Big E, but with something that he's never been anything but really apologetic for. Big E has never blamed him for it.
Big E's never blamed him, and that's the thing. It's a very unfortunate thing that they're leaning into that real life aspect of it, which for years and years, I think everyone sort of agrees, when you lean into that real aspect side of professional wrestling and the real life aspect and bring it over, it does make it more interesting. Like having this as a storyline, it does kind of suck in some ways of, they're playing into the fact that he has injured someone legitimately, but it does make it a bit more exciting because then we sat going, is it real?
Right.
When wrestling's not real.
No, wrestling apparently is not real. Also, this ties nicely into the NXT title picture, which has lots of moving parts at the moment. Ilja Dragunov is the champion, with Trick Williams as his number one contender. Now Trick Williams is worried that his match isn't going to take place at New Year's Evil. Carmelo Hayes has been angling there was a bit on that same week of NXT where Hayes was like, can we make it a triple threat? And Trick was like, what? No, I want to do this on my own. And he was like, yeah, that's okay. Carmelo's lurking.
He's fuming.
And he's lurking. And I wonder if he's going to come out of New Year's Evil somehow as the new NXT champion.
Yeah, maybe. He's turning the trick against them, that's for
Possibly. Sure. And yesterday, we're going to give an update on Rey Mysterio. It was reported by Dave Meltzer, and we also reported, therefore, on the news, that Rey Mysterio had signed a new 5-year deal with WWE. But now House of Wrestling has come out and said that actually it's a 3-year deal with WWE. The length of Dominic's contract is unknown, but it's believed to be longer than his father's. You expressed surprise on our last news video when we said 5 years. You were like, He's obviously still a fantastic wrestler,
Yep.
but he's getting on a bit.
He is. If a 5-year deal would mean that he was in his 50s by the time it expired, and a man that's had numerous knee injuries in the past. A 3-year deal makes a bit more sense, especially when you factor in the stuff that WWE will likely add on injury time already that he's had in his current run, currently out injured himself. And I imagine that a 3-year deal allows him a bit more freedom as well to be like, 3 years are up. Should I sign a new one? Should I continue wrestling? He's a Hall of Famer. He doesn't need to be wrestling. I think right now this is just, let's enjoy Rey Mysterio while we've got him in the ring.
This is the start of an epic length 3-year retirement angle between him and Dom. It's going to build. It's going to build 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah,
wow. Mapped it all out.
No, but I mean, I think you suggested it recently as well. It's got to be Dom who retires Rey.
Surely.
You think?
It would be a nice full circle moment. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We also have an update on QT Marshall, who recently left AEW. Fightful Select say QT Marshall's contract with AEW is up on January 1st, although he'd already announced that he was leaving. They were told that he is effectively already finished up with the company. Sources within AEW have confirmed that QT Marshall is not a presence backstage at AEW any longer and has not been at the show in weeks. That's got to be... I think his absence will surely be felt more keenly backstage at AEW than in the ring, because there's such a packed roster.
Yeah, we know that on numerous people have come out since he announced that he was leaving AEW, saying that he wore many, many hats backstage, and there was he had so many roles that he was integral to in AEW. I think you're spot on. It will be a notable thing backstage that we don't notice. It'll be one of those things that people go, oh well, things are done differently now, or things is maybe not as easy, or maybe it's harder or easier now that he's gone, whatever. But I don't think we'll notice too much on TV. It sucks, but January 1st, truly, he is the real bidding war of 2024.
Yes,
if MJF
absolutely.
has signed a contract or he's not signed a contract.
Well, there are apparently plans in place for QT's next steps, according to Fightful, who say there is already outside interest in QT Marshall, who we are told at least has some plans that include the Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling trademark. QT was adamant that he wanted to perform in the ring while he was still in his prime.
I mean, you can't blame him, really.
No.
He wants to be a wrestler. He was kind of relegated to more backstage stuff in AEW, as we said there. He is, I think, he's in his 30s, so he's still got, he still is in his prime of his career. Where he ends up, I don't know. I don't see it being WWE.
No.
But I think a run in the Indies might do him good.
If he did end up in WWE, I would say maybe as like in a backstage role, as you say.
Main event of WrestleMania Night 1.
Yeah. Against CM Punk.
Get him in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Throw CM Punk out. Done.
Speaking of people who, well, no, this is someone who's been released from WWE, I should say. Matt Riddle has had his first post-WWE match revealed. PW Insider reporting that local advertising in Philadelphia lists former WWE star Matt Riddle versus Jacob Fatu for the 6th of January 2024 Kings of Colosseum event at the 2300 Arena. They then, PW Insider, checked with MLW sources, and they have confirmed that Riddle is debuting for the promotion on that date. Although they might have wanted to wait for the announcement, I guess, given the fact that it hadn't been advertised by them, just by local advertising.
It was just by local advertising. It's going to be an interesting one to see how Matt Riddle lands on the independent scene again in companies such as MLW, because he did have an unceremonious exit from WWE. Obviously, the incident at the JFK airport. He was one of the released talent in September. There's numerous talents that are about to become free agents that are about to populate the indie scene. Where does Matt Riddle fit amongst them? Like when you've got your Dolph Ziglers, your Mustafa Ali's, you there's a lot of talent there. Where's Matt Riddle going to land? Him versus Jacob Fatu, though, that will be a dream match for many of them. It's a big deal, that match.
Yeah, you'd think it would be a great match as well, yeah.
But how often will he get used?
It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure I read somewhere, maybe on the MMA subreddit, that he was talking about or teasing maybe a return to MMA in some form as well.
He has teased over the past few months a boxing fight with Jake Paul.
Okay.
He's teased a return to MMA. The next few months for Matt Riddle will be quite interesting. I can't imagine the response will be too good if he goes to AEW from the WWE side of things.
No.
And I don't really see him landing in AEW just now.
No, I don't either. I think that maybe it would bring, especially so close to his, as you say, his quite contentious release from WWE. I think that maybe it would bring negative publicity, like when Ric Flair came along, But he's there. He's still there.
He's there wooing away. Yep. Oh, there's some great Ric Flair news out on Cultaholic.com just now. Go and read all about it.
Oh no, I don't know this.
So good. Check it all out, Cultaholic.com.
And thank you for watching this news video as well. Check out our first news video of the day if you missed that as well, and leave all your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I've been Jack, this has been Fraser, and we'll see you very soon.